Resolute Marshall says, hi.
Marshall, what's up, man? We are back. Let me get the chat up.
Resolute Marshall says, you drawing it from some image?
Not at this point. It's more of out of my head now. I did okay. So I was studying, did a lot of studies on cages, meaning I looked up a lot of pictures on cages, on doves, trying to get the idea behind them. I did one AI generation of like doves in different positions, and um, just picked and choose like started picking and choosing, and then like this is all in the basic sketch, and then I slowly just started changing wings and stuff. So it was just a lot of it was a process until I locked it into place. Now I'm just like this design I made up, this, I mean, I was thinking of doing some floral pattern down here, but I think I don't think I'm going to do that. It's just too much.
Resolute Marshall says, it's for yourself?
No, it's a commission. Some chick wanted it. That I don't know. She just found me and wanted this thing done. So yeah, I get this done, and then we're gonna get on to painting and stuff. Uh, I have a landscape painting commission that is almost done, and then I also have a portrait of my dad going that I want finished.
Resolute Marshall says, you think you gonna end this today?
I thought I was, but I forgot that I had a student coming in. So I don't think I am gonna finish it today, but um, I'll I'll try to finish it this week. I just want to, I try to do a good job with this. I mean, because I'm not getting paid enough to really, this is a lot of detail for what I'm getting paid for. It's not that much. Um, like meticulous drawings take me a while, obviously, to do.
Sheer Curry says,
Shakur, what's up,
did she
girl?
pay in advance?
No, no, she didn't. Probably should have, in retrospect, probably should have had her do it.
Sheer Curry says, I don't trust clients.
Yeah, you're smart. You shouldn't. You should never trust them.
QFX says,
Who effects?
play Mistweaver, let others do the hard work.
My brother said to play he
Resolute
actually said to
Marshall
play
says,
Windwalker.
Sheer Curry your artist too.
She is. She's very good, I think.
Sheer Curry says, Cunts. Sheer Curry says. I guess.
She is. She's good.
Future Oil Painter says. YouTube is banning all my comments.
Switch
Future
to
Oil
Twitch.
Painter says. Switch. QFX says. Mistweaver is more broken than people realize.
Oh, I
Sheer
know.
Curry says.
It's so hard to fight it.
I send that before you ask that LMAO.
Yeah, we guessed. That was funny. She was talking about the clients.
Resolute Marshall says. Sheer Curry, you have portfolio to link. Sheer Curry says. This music. No wonder you are depressed. Future Oil Painter says.
This one's kind of a bad
What's that
song.
old joke about clients?
Maybe I should.
QFX says.
I'm not
They
depressed, by
give
the
an
way.
orb buffs on your heal target that gets them 10% more heals and a debuff on enemies that makes them take 10% more damage and do 3% less, so playing with MW your whole team does 10% more damage, which is nuts.
That is nuts. No, I downloaded a bunch of stuff today, and
Resolute Marshall says.
so some of the stuff I
WoW
might
is
not
difficult game.
always listen. I don't really listen to this. Like, I don't listen to this on a regular basis. Let's put it that way. WoW is a difficult game. PvP is, yeah. There's different levels of it. It can be easy. It can be extremely difficult.
Resolute Marshall says. And what it depends on.
So like PvP is extremely hard right now. In like arena 2v2, 3v3, and then there's another mode it's ranked. That's very hard. And then there's also raiding at the higher levels can be very difficult. Um, it's a lot because you have to know there's a lot to keep in mind, like spells and you have to know mechanics and the spells of other classes. In PvP, you have to know like the other classes you're playing, what spells they have, and it's and when they're using them and how to counter it and your positioning. It's like a giant chess match. It's kind of crazy, which is why I like it because it keeps you engaged and it's like so hard that you don't just get it. At first, it's something to work towards. Um, like I love it. I really do.
Resolute Marshall says. Can it be compared to League of Legends?
League of
QFX
Legends
says.
is
I
in
love it
depth.
unsub 3 days ago. Future Oil Painter says. Is this live or is this AI loud?
Could be both. League of Legends, I don't really play, but I think it's like League of Legends doesn't have as many buttons. It's like what, 4 or 5. And I'm sure it's like that's a lot of
King
positioning,
of
and you have
Waslef
to.
says.
But it's
Switch
way
to
different.
Twitch so I can say some fucked up shit.
There you go. So anyway, yeah, that's the idea behind it. I mean, it is different. but I'm not like a league person, so I might be. No, I'm not wrong. It is a different game. It's way different.
Resolute Marshall says. LOL have QWERD F4.
Yeah, it's more in depth than that.
Resolute Marshall says. Okay.
Yeah.
Sheer Curry says. QFX Pirates of Penzance is being performed in Germany.
What if QFX was actually
Futury
in
Oil
it?
Painter says.
He's the one who's
How many
orchestrating.
birds were hurt in the making of this drawing? Ilikamo says. Text-to-speech doesn't work on YouTube. QFX says.
About
Damn.
20 birds were
Sheer
destroyed,
Curry
slowly
says.
tortured.
Lucky son of a bitch. QFX says. I play the Pirate King. Sheer Curry says. QFX plays Ruth. QFX says. Wow. Resolute Marshall says. XD.
Messed up.
QFX says. I could see me as a 65-year-old Frederick.
What is wrong with me? Why am I? Wait a second. No, I'm correct.
Resolute Marshall says. How much time you usually spent on sketch? Sheer Curry says.
Not this much time.
It could work. I saw a 50-year-old play an 18-year-old. Futury Oil Painter says. So this lady just called and said draw me some birds you jackass?
Yes. Yes. I was like, okay. Yes, ma'am. Penis. Penis. Penis.
QFX says. Yeah, especially since Frederick age isn't important at all for the plots D. Sheer Curry says. She wanted you to paint her actual birds.
This is difficult because I need to like squish this design, which is the
Ilikamo
dumbest thing I
says.
could have done, and I did it.
Louis sup.
Likimo, what's up, you French man?
Futury Oil Painter says. Did you ask her for a deposit, or sign
No.
something that says you better pay me?
No. No. This might have been a huge mistake. I know what y'all are thinking right now. Just don't think, okay? Don't don't get me thinking about this in the middle of this. All right. The last thing I need is I don't need. I just want this to be over with.
QFX says, I some juicy cast playing it or so randoms, cause if you've seen the best and get a mediocre performance it ain't gonna be fun.
Hmm.
Sheer Curry says, I don't know. They are German. King of Was left says, Twitch is an odd place. Banned if you draw a boob. But you can sing a little sea shanty like do your tits hang low, do they wobble to and fro, do you tie them in a knot, do you tie them in a bow, do your tits hang low. QFX says, is theta positive or negative? Sheer Curry says, the best are dead or extremely old now. Futury Oil Painter says, she's probably gonna pay you with a kiss on the cheek or Monopoly money.
Say you're sweet and walk away. You're sweet. Monopoly money. I'll take it.
Sheer Curry says, Lewis will take that.
See, she knows. She knows me at this point.
QFX says, he gonna cherish that memory for lonely cold nights, so every night.
It's what got me through the hard times.
QFX says, when his mannequins don't find their way into the other side of the bed.
Never came home
Futury Oil
last
Painter
night.
says, worst case shall say, oh you thought I was serious. So sorry.
Worst case, she'll say, there could be a worst case beyond that one, too.
QFX says, what happened to that Hal chick who used to burn you to the ground every stream?
Oh, Hal?
King of Was left says,
I think she
he's
ate her.
being paid in back alley handies.
She's somewhere plastered to her couch, which is like now organic. She can actually move the couch, the sofa, because she's grown into the couch. So she's able to like move the pillows organically. It's not cloth, it's now a thin, sticky film of skin. Okay? Cheetos
QFX
everywhere.
says, she's still pumping wow.
No, no, I
Futury
don't think
Oil
so.
Painter
I think she got
says,
a boyfriend, which is
all
good.
those long cold days at the boys' academy, finally gets him a kiss on the cheek or possibly a hug.
Ah, the FAAB, the Florence
Sheer Curry
Academy
says, who is Hal now I need
of
to
Art
know
for Boys.
LOL.
Who's Hal? Do you not remember? Were you not around? Hal was always on the streams grilling me. Like it was just a back and forth. Called her the Hal Beast. Like I could say anything to her and she wouldn't be offended. She would dish it right back. It was great. I don't think any streams were banned because of her. No, I did get banned from Twitch shortly after, but that didn't have to do with her. The Hal Beast. She would log in. The creature. Ah, the creature's here.
QFX says, were you disappointed when you heard of the news that she got a BF?
No, I was relieved. And I'm assuming it was a boyfriend. She always said she was a lesbian, but people say that these days because you get a badge of honor for it. I don't think there's as many out there as people say. That's my. No, I'm right. I'm
Sheer
right
Curry
about that.
says, we need more women in here.
I know it's becoming like a bunch of
Sheer Curry
guys who
says,
never
never gonna
mentally
happen
matured
though.
past fourth grade. It's not gonna happen. Probably no, probably not. All we do is call each other retards and all sorts of stuff and talk about Warcraft. That's not gonna attract many chicks. Shakuri, you are here because of your love of art. You're trying to siphon as much education out as you can, which is hard. That's how desperate you are for art. But I think you enjoy the people too. You have a good sense of
QFX
humor.
says, there usually are, Grasshopper Oscilla, Cherie.
Yeah, this is
Ilakimo
actually true.
says,
We have a lot of
hee
chicks. What are
hee.
you talking about? Yeah,
Future
Windy
Oil Painter
City's
says,
normally there.
did you guys hear? The Florence Academy is going to allow students to trace over drawings.
Explain what you mean by that, because
Future Oil Painter
I think I know what
says,
you mean, and I think
April
you're
Fools.
okay. But okay, good job, you got me. But the reason why you got me is because in transfer drawings you do trace, but you've done the drawings that you're tracing. That's what I'm saying.
King of Wasleft says, your mother was a tracer.
Dorothy Mantooth was a saint.
QFX says, release the birds on BM.
What are you talking about? You mean Beastmaster? Is that what you're saying? You are, aren't you?
Ilakimo says, did you see the live drawing from today? I think value control has improved from those few last pushed drawing. QFX
I
says,
started to see it,
yes.
but then I was teaching.
King
I
of
couldn't see the
Wasleft
whole thing.
says, he'll trace a chalk line around his cold dead body.
Ilakimo, your drawings are getting better because you're spending more time on. You have a couple projects you're spending more time on, and that's why I've been trying to get you to do. And that's I'm like
Future
it
Oil
psychs me
Painter
up every time
says,
I see it.
McDonald's is replacing French fries with broccoli bites.
April Fools.
Sheer Curry says, MC Donald's is so overrated.
It
QFX
used to be
says,
good back in the day, like
did
a
you see
long
the
time ago.
Blizzard's April Fool's lol? They gave dwarfs a tail and joked about hunters being up, so they knew those mofos.
So if you want to know what they know, read the April Fool's jokes with them. You're absolutely right. Most people are like, they don't know what they're talking. They do. They just don't do the work to fix
Buttery
it.
oil painter says, April Fools.
I know. Shit.
King of Was left says, hey, race my confession. I'm a liberal now. Gender is just a construct. Women are just as strong as men.
But you
Sher
believe in
Curry
science.
says,
Science.
I don't need April 1st to be a fool.
That was good, Shakuri.
QFX says, true. Future oil painter says, why don't you sharpen your pencil?
Because I'm badass. So when I'm drawing, I'm actually there's a sharp edge. I'm just rotating it, and I get the so like it sounds like an excuse, but that's what you do. Like it's good enough, and then I'll sharpen it in a second. Like I'm getting the level of detail I need right now.
Ilikamo says, and today we got a new model for the next weeks, from Yoga Mama to Gen Z. The new model's parents are both artists, the father is somewhat famous.
No way.
QFX says, you sharpen that mage damage pencil.
Damn it. Look, I'm I was momentarily defeated.
King of Was left says, I believe the dinosaurs invented science when they were exploring the edge of our flat world. Ilikamo says, the father is American. Sher Curry says, I would feel so weird letting my child model nude lol. Future oil painter says, Sher Curry doesn't suffer fools, they will meet the pointy end of her sword.
Everybody needs a sword. I've been saying this for years. So when you draw, one side's getting flat, but it's making an edge that's sharp so that you can rotate to that sharp edge if you pay attention to it. After a while, and sharpening it long like this will help. But after a while, you need to go back and that only works for so long.
Sher Curry says, I have a butter knife. Ilikamo says, I don't know if it's letting when it's an adult, can't say a child.
All right.
Ilikamo says, but yeah, the father has a friend in our group that's a bit weird. Ilikamo says, but at the same time, fuck nakedness being weird.
Did I tell you all about the time when I was sitting in my car outside downtown? A naked dude just walks right by, and people are like cheering him on and stuff. And at first I was like, what the hell? And I was like, you know what? Good for him. They're like, yeah, brother. And he's just like walking down. He's so proud in his 30s. You know, just walking. He wasn't drunk or anything. He's just walking. He definitely lost a dare. Or a
Valker1s
bet or
says,
something.
well.
Well.
Future Oil Painter says,
What's up, Val?
story for QFX, I once asked a stripper if her boobies were real, I was 19, she said yeah real expensive. Sheer Curry says,
Good answer.
yeehaw brother.
Yeehaw, brother. Yeah, brother.
QFX says, fake boobs do be expensive.
Shit.
Ilikamo says, we entered engineering in uni by running naked at midnight in front of the police academy to sing our hymn. Sheer Curry says, not in Turkey I heard. King of Wasleft says, I'm making a Dungeons and Dragons character, he's half Minotaur, half mermaid. But he got the human half of each, so now he's just some dude.
That's pretty good.
Future Oil Painter says,
That's really funny.
those
I
were
don't know
big.
why. It's really funny.
QFX says, lot of POPs who do it for cheap in other countries have problems and have to get it fixed later on LOL.
Val.
QFX says, costing them more in the end.
Hmm. Hmm.
QFX says, so the Valzov Zerks gang is pupin huh? QFX says,
It's pumping. Yep.
pumping.
They're good. Val, you got to get Zerks back up. I just blew all his rating. I just tanked his rating. You got to get him back up.
Future Oil Painter says, Luth. Looks like you drew the one finger salad on top of the cage. QFX says, they doing some feral disc 2 shenanigans.
Yeah, they are. Sounds like a really good comp too. Phil, I think, is getting buffed, which is good. I'm glad for them.
QFX says, Mage in 2s has the problem of no MS, when you start at 30 damp and have Mortal Strike in addition, that's really powerful. King of Wasleft says, can anyone answered? Did they add finally the solo Warcraft campaign? I heard rumors that they were gonna add a way for you to, if you were a solo player, do the entire game and then even run the raid solo for the story.
I think so, but I don't know.
Futury Oil Painter says.
'Cause
Are you
I
gonna draw some
don't
heavenly aura
PvE.
emanating from the birds? Valkyr1s
No.
says. Me and Zerx found the perfect strat. Zerx opens with his burst, then he goes full CC mode and I kill them off LOL.
There you go. So I undid all your work, so you need to get them back up. I think we played 20 games and won 2. It was a nightmare, Val. It was a nightmare. Never had a worse time. Ever. But
QFX says.
supposed to be S tier, and
Sounds like
so
a juicy
it's definitely
experience.
something I'm doing wrong.
Valkyr1s says. No such things as bad games, just practice for the future, my friend. QFX says.
He's right.
I mean S tier in 3s and shuffle, I don't know about 2s since no MS.
I don't know about 2s either. All I know is that I've never had a harder time. But I need to stop being a little bitch. That's what I need to do. That is the goal. I will put that in my diary. Not that I have a diary. Dear diary.
QFX says.
Be
Mage does
stronger.
better when you have a melee to peel.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just having a hard time kiting melee right now, and so I just get mauled. And to get Ray of Frost off, you have to pull the most amazing gameplay
King of Was left
that
says.
I'm not sure I'm
I'm the
capable of.
opposite of you. I actually love the leveling process and that's what I miss the most. If I want to start playing again, I actually look forward to starting off a level 1, but I want to play all the way
Good.
through and not have to rely on finding raids or looking for a group to see how the stories end in the raids. Valkyr1s says.
Good.
That's my secret, I'm always hard. QFX says. Damn,
Sure you
you
are.
too. QFX says.
Yeah, King.
I thought I was alone in this world.
King, I think you'll like the expansion if you. This one is good for leveling. I think they did a good job with leveling, and a lot of people are just using ground mounts for it. They're not flying because they find it's more immersive, which is nice. Which, if I was into it more, I'd be doing that. If you don't care about like, going slower. Or, whatever. It's fine. I'll leave that.
Sheer Curry says. You are QFX. QFX says. Wow. Sheer Curry says. Don't you ever listen to 70s rock?
Yeah, I love 70s rock. I like Led Zeppelin quite a bit.
QFX says. Cute little tune, I listened to it a lot in my 40s. King of Was left says. You know how I know you're gay? You listen to Korn unironically.
You know how I know you're gay? You know who Korn is, unironically. Burn, eat it, suck it.
Sheer Curry says. QFX grew up on Betty Boop.
I want this thing to be over!
Sheer Curry says. No gay man listens to Korn.
I like Korn. I don't like all their songs, and I can't listen to this all day long because if I do, I'll feel crazy. But I kind of need to get more pumped than I am. I'm pretty deflated right now, and I need something that like makes me want to bitch slap everything. Hence the music selection, which
Futury
I
Oil
put
Painter
together right
says.
before the stream.
Look probably puts on the Beatles and sings along to them in the shower. It's been a long hard night and I've been working like a dog. Sheer Curry says. QFX played with sponges because he couldn't afford toys in the Depression. QFX says. Korn had some bangers early on, not sure about their later
Yeah, me
stuff.
neither. Yeah. Now this is Audio Slave. They're good too. I like Audio Slave a lot.
Sheer Curry says. But for cheer, nothing wrong with that. Valkyr1S says. Did you and Zerks run double DPS in 2s or DPS heals?
Both.
QFX says.
We couldn't win
I
anything
also
with double
didn't
deeps.
follow up on the bands I liked when I was a young gun in the 30s.
I was defeated that whole night. I would say we won like kind of some in the beginning, and then after that we just went on the biggest losing streak
King of
ever, and then I was
Wasleft says.
defeated. And I
The loss
said,
of Chris
"Fuck
Cornell
this,
was
we're
my
gonna keep
John
playing."
Lennon.
It was bad. It was literally the worst night I've ever had. And I haven't played since, and I actually said that I'm never gonna play that until they fix it. Um, so I'm trying to I'm trying to get myself back in the mood, Zerks. Or Val.
QFX says.
Like I'm
Double
trying to
DPS
get my
is
head
kinda
back in.
back right.
Because like I'm so angry and I just need to like I just need to become non-emotional with it and just like I need to figure out something I like about it. Like so I've never made more of an effort than I am right now. And it's because of you guys. I want to play with you guys. Otherwise I would have left.
Sheer Curry says. QFX would have told on and Frank. QFX says. At least with Rogue Lel. Sheer Curry says. Don't cry, Lewis. It will all be fine.
No, I won't. It's never okay. There's never enough time. It's total freak out. It was a rough night, but we're talking about a video game. It's not as big of a deal. That's why I need to like stop being such a pussy. It's literally the dumbest thing
Sheer Curry says,
ever.
the elegance of yonder tear trembles on your eyelash. Valker1s says,
I'm not crying.
you must enter the flow state. Pure zen, bliss, and murder.
It's getting harder to enter that state, my friend.
Sheer Curry says, maybe you should join the real army. You would love that.
I'm too old.
QFX says, Dev is also pretty pump. If you
Probably in
get
better
kicked
shape
on Frost
than
you
most
still
of those
can do
guys.
fire and nature, that kinda
Not
jazz,
after they're
open with a stun and shit, even can fly stun twice now. King of Was left
I was
says,
thinking about that.
I can't wait for you to get back to painting. I learn a lot
I
from you,
know.
full transparency. I'm not learning anything from white nationalist gay birds.
I know. Thank you for that, and I agree. I mean, look, I'm doing this to get this done. I'm not learning anything either, except like literally, it looks like I'm focused on this. I'm thinking how much I hate Warcraft right now.
QFX
Okay,
says, sheep is basically sleep, they're kinda similar.
but sleep DRs with clone.
QFX says, you sure? I thought it
Yeah,
dread with sheep.
no. If it did, it would be you'd see many more evoker druids.
King of Was left says, channel that hatred into those pretentious pigeons.
Oh, I'm channeling the hatred right now and despair into finishing this.
QFX says, then Mage Dev would be nutty, didn't Gears want to roll Dev this spec?
Yeah, Gears loves Dev. He's probably playing one. Didn't he say he's playing one?
Sheer Curry says, oh the horror.
What?
QFX says, don't you talk to him in game lel.
Not. I talk to him more on the stream than I do in game, partially because I don't play as much as him. I don't play hardly at all,
Future Oil
which
Painter
is the
says,
problem too. That's another
I
problem.
was drawing one of boring philosophers ladies, and I know it's done when my wife threatens me.
So how's she threaten you?
King of Was left says. If I'm gonna play again I need to dig out my speed pad, it's the only way I know how to play, I can't fuck with the keyboard.
Your speed pad. I don't even know what that
Elakamo
is.
says. Threatened with a good time. Valker1s says. Yeah, get back to the booby paintings already. Sheer Curry says. But for chair, have you drawn her yet?
Talking about your
QFX
wife?
says. Paint Sylvanas nude.
Yeah, Twitch would love that. But I should.
Sheer Curry says. Your wife. Future Oil Painter says. Something about killing me in my sleep, just kidding, but she did try to rip it up. King of Was left says. SpeedPad is like a hand-size keyboard that just has enough buttons for hotkeys, jump, map, quest log, etc.
Cool, man. Yeah, that sounds like it actually come in handy. How was that? Right there. Sorry, I was
Future Oil Painter
talking about this
says.
piece here.
Nope, have not. Sheer Curry says. If I had a wife I would paint her all the time. Sheer Curry says.
One day, Shikari.
Free model.
That's why I only date
Future Oil
models.
Painter says. I wonder if my second
Only the
wife
hot
will
ones.
treat me better. QFX says. It's never too late to start looking for one.
Yeah, Rick.
King of Was left says. It allows you to be more in tune with your character. Because your hand doesn't need to move from 1 to 0.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I have a 12 button mouse like on the side, so that's how I do the.
Sheer Curry says. I'm gonna transition to Rick and steal all your guys' potential ladies. Valker1s says. I don't know how to paint, but I do stare at her naked a lot, so it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
QFX says. Man, my G600 double clicks and I looked up how much they are now, and it's insane. I only saw some for multiple hundreds of dollars.
Everything's gone up. Sucks.
Valker1s says. My wife, that is, that's probably a important part to add, lol. Future Oil Painter
No, I knew
says.
you were talking about her.
I'd
But
settle for a scratching post sometimes. Future Oil Painter says. If my wife leaves me, I'm gonna hang out with Louth and join his Virgins and Proud Club, no women allowed. King of Was Left says. When a woman is attracted to a man, she will speak in a slightly higher register. This explains why every woman that talks to me sounds like fucking Batman. QFX says. I listened to that a lot when I was a young whippersnapper.
Hmm. Virgin. That's the thing. When we got blasted with gay porn this weekend, I was like,
Helicamo says. Bats
it's
talk in
nothing compared to
ultrasounds
chat.
though.
Yeah. Batman overlooked that because he's a meathead. This is wrong.
QFX says. It's okay if you like the gay porn, it def stayed on a bit longer than it needed to.
QFX is like, download, download, download. No, that was, fortunately, I saw Shakari's message because she's like, something's going on. I was like, oh, great. Which, by the way, that was my fault because apparently my Discord
King of
was
Was Left
linked to
says.
like X
QFX
and
said he was 65.
Twitch, so you could find
Are you
all
Chris
my
Hansen?
information. He's not 65. He's like, my guess is he's probably 32, 33. Or late 30s. I think he's in his 30s. That's my guess. That's my honest guess.
Sheer Curry says. QFX is like 97. QFX says. You said I sound like I'm 20, didn't you know I got 2.2k when I was 7? Helicamo says.
That's
His height
why I'm
is
saying 30.
187. QFX says. I got it when I was 52.
The reason you just did the math there with that. I
Shurikitten
mean,
says.
that was
TDS
the
is
pause.
ignoring YouTube. Future Oil Painter says. QFX, who is the lady you keep painting?
Shorime, what's up? He asks his mom to pose nude for him, and then he just does a portrait. He doesn't even put the body in.
QFX says. That's Arwen from Lord of the Rings, but the likeness ain't all there. Shurikitten says. I just woke up lol.
Of course you did. Vampire.
Sheer Curry says. That's his first love who died in WW2. QFX says. More like the 10th at that time. Shurikitten says. Curry enable MFA on Discord. Sheer Curry says. Of damn I forgot. Sheer Curry says. Oh dear me. King of Was left says. How great was the Mist of Pandaria expansion. It allowed me to be praised for being aggressively racist towards Asian culture. Futury Oil Painter says. MFA. Is that Master of Fine Art? Sheer Curry says. You're gonna regret this.
I'm used to it.
Futury Oil Painter says. Think that's what Lewis got at the Academy, an MFA and a magic wand.
I was Harry Potter once for Halloween over there because I couldn't figure out anything else, so I got a stick, a cloak, and then I just put some
Shurikitten
like charcoal
says.
on my head.
Multi-factor authentication LOL. Sheer Curry says. He was born with a magic wand.
Damn right it was.
Shurikitten says. In his pants. Valker1s says. Dude, listen to this crap. We went from 80 degrees yesterday to 20 degrees today. I was so bummed LOL. QFX
I don't know
says.
why you're still up there,
They
Val. You
called
need to
him
come down
Lord
here.
Swoldemort at the Academy.
Slow them.
Sheer Curry says. LMAO Lord Swoldemort damn.
Lord Voldemort.
Futury Oil Painter says. The ol' Slithering Club. QFX says. Yeah, I saw someone say that in a comment about Ralph Fiennes being buffed in that new movie, and it's so funny.
Ah. This music really goes with the drawing, doesn't it? Doing filigree with the birds.
Sheer Curry says, Harry Potter is nothing without Alan Rickman and Dame Maggie Smith.
I wish Voldemort won. Would have been great. He who must not be named. Ooh, he must be bad. Or you're pussies. Says the guy complaining about a video game.
QFX says, damn exactly the two I painted. Sheer Curry says, post them.
Yeah, man. Do it.
QFX says, maybe.
Do it. And let the English see you do it.
Futury Oil Painter says,
Do it.
how are you gonna package this drawing when you give it to her? Or will you have an unveiling ceremony where you drop a curtain?
The beauty about this paper, Bristol, is nice and hard. That's what she said. You can use it as a frisbee or as a weapon to slice people's hands off if they try to touch you and you don't feel like being touched. So what I'm going to do is when it's done, I'm going to look at her and I'm going to aim right between the eyes right here and just frisbee it to her and be like, there, done, pay me, do this. Lo conto, check please. And then I'm going to walk away, okay? This idea, because this thing is thick paper, right? It's not flimsy. We deal with real material here in my studio. All right. So what's going to happen? And then I'll put it on YouTube for the clicks.
QFX says, play the Glaive Frisbee Hunter class.
Everything always comes back to that. Shit.
QFX says, Hunter makes perfect sense when you play with a feral. Futury Oil Painter says, cash money no checks please.
Cash money. I'm not going to play Hunter. By principle, I'm not playing that class. Plus, I don't think I'd like it anyway.
Sheer Curry says, I would pay with a baggie full of pennies.
I told you my friend tried to pay at Wendy's. He tried to pay this black woman at Wendy's once, and he like put down like he just put all pennies out. She's like, honey, I'm not counting that.
QFX says,
It's
Hunter
like $3.
actually one of the few I never played at Maxville myself.
It's pretty funny. I mean, Hunters. I don't want to play that. My brother actually does Hunter though. He's pretty decent.
QFX says, if I played again, I would prob do BM. Futury Oil Painter says, she might pay you with salt. Think salt was currency back in the day.
Was it? Let's see this actually.
Sheer Curry says. Your family plays this game. This is hereditary.
My brother does. He's the one who got me into it, but he doesn't. He's like me. He doesn't have time,
QFX
but he
says.
plays it early in the
And
morning
he
instead
never
of late
plays
at
with
night.
them.
And just for the record, I talk more about it than I actually play here on stream, oddly enough. I'm not kidding. Like, I need to be playing more, honestly. I'm one of the people who tries to play more.
QFX says.
I need to be playing more.
Wow, I
I need
talk
to
more
chill. I
about
need
it than I
to.
play too. We have so much in common. Buttery
He's
Oil Painter
correct as
says.
well, which
Shell probably say looks like this drawing is worth your salt. King of Was left says. Don't let it go to your head. I just loathe ads. QFX says. Let's be real though, talking about it is prob more fun than actually playing LMAO.
it is fun to talk about it, but I enjoy having fun in arena more. And I want to stress having fun in arena more. So last time I played, I didn't, but that's not always the case.
Sheer Curry says. You guys just enjoy complaining. I do too.
It's true. You make a good WoW player, Shakuri.
QFX says.
Join the bitter
Who
team.
doesn't? Sheer Curry says. Liars.
What are you talking about?
QFX says. Real. QFX says. And non-artists. Sheer Curry says. Complaining is classy.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay.
QFX says. RET is also busted, you should level yours, there's no MMR right now anyway. Share Curry says. Shouldn't there be shadows on the bars from the birds?
Probably.
King of Wasleft says. Complaining to a prostitute must be fun. Like it has to be exhilarating giving an in-person Yelp review to a hooker. QFX says. Nice oil painting tag when you're only drawing, fooled me into watching. Share Curry says.
Is it
Your
tagged? Yeah, it
vagina
is, bro.
wasn't properly moist, madam.
Seems about right. I mean, look, I stopped trying on the tags a long time ago. All right? Y'all should know that by now.
Share Curry says. You should do one of those viral turnaround reveals like a real influencer.
That's what grew my Instagram account. I was somebody told me I should do it. I did it, and then it got like 2 million views or something. It's crazy. Like it's all random, and then they all left. I mean, stupid.
QFX says. That stuff is so stupid but it works.
It does work, but I don't. It, I don't even care, man.
Futury Oil Painter says. This bird drawing is done Luth.
I know, pretty much is. But I need to go over the birds and stuff. So I need to finish the bottom. Rotate, pencil.
QFX says. What are those, eagles? Reminds me of this hunter class. Futury Oil Painter says. Are you gonna sneak in a little Lewis head somewhere? King of Was left says.
I don't care enough to
You
do
should
that.
market yourself as a non-binary trans man. That way if they don't subscribe it's a homophobic hate crime.
I named my
QFX
rogue
says.
in game some gay
You knew
boy
you were getting it when you heard
for
the
that
Eagle in
reason.
TWW Season 3 XD.
And I did it too because we were hunting some players and they were in a group, and so they were saying they would scream some gay boys on me. I wanted them to say that. And guess what? The name has not been reported or banned. We've got some videos of it too. It's actually hilarious. We made one of the leaders hide in a cave for the duration of the match. It was freaking great. Me and Zerks did. Ah, yes. Should be playing sub is what I should be playing. But I'm not good at sub, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
QFX says. Sub is completely busted.
I
Best
know.
spec now for DPS.
It's sub's insane, man.
QFX says. Zerks should play it if he likes his rogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
QFX says. Feral is pretty similar though, but the damage comes from bleeds, on sub it's direct damage. King of Was left says. So they turned sub into a DOM daddy?
It's pretty funny. That's good.
QFX says. I noticed you aren't wearing pink for a change today.
Never wear pink. What are you talking about? I wore my pink shirt the other day, jackass.
Sheer Curry says, I like that boob on the bottom.
This, yeah, it's pretty cool. It worked out pretty good.
King of Was left says, it wasn't pink, it was hetero flexible salmon. Sheer Curry says, QFX probably thinks it should be bigger.
This, he'd only say that because he's trying to compensate for something precious. But it was so small. A real shame. You know how I'm waiting to come back is tag in.
QFX says, Loda grinding it down in 65 years, it used to be bigger. Futury Oil Painter says, don't forget to draw some rope holding the cage.
I'm gonna have it floating. Screw it. You gotta pay extra for that type of action.
King of Was left says, oh, I got a story for you. So sad.
Go for it, man. Are you talking about your penis? Was that in response to QFX? Or do you have a story?
Futury Oil Painter says, she's gonna be like, I love the birds, but can you erase the cage? And put some balloons instead.
I'll be like, no.
King of Was left says, a Twitch streamer I follow, an oil painter, insanely talented, I learned a lot, was my go-to source on oil painting info. He started getting crazy woke every stream, shitting on Christians every stream. So I had to unfollow.
Yeah.
QFX says,
Sucks, man.
those birds need some boobs. Sheer Curry says, do birds have nipples?
Damn it, now I have to draw nipples on there. What if I get banned for
QFX
nipples
says,
on pigeons
they
or
don't breastfeed
whatever
Lel.
this creature is? I wonder if this will get us banned on Twitch.
Futury Oil Painter says, good thing those birds aren't hung.
Not yet.
QFX says, nice rack. QFX says, ship it like that. Sheer Curry says, bigger.
Shikari's always like giving me command prompts like I'm AI. Now, draw the.
Sheer Curry says, just draw one giant tit all over the page. QFX says, Curry gonna be the next Rose with the titty obsession. King of Was left says, and he only crapped on Christians. I can kind of understand if he just wasn't religious and hated all of them the same. But he never had an unkind word to say about Muslims. Sheer Curry says, I command you.
Not bad. All right. Yeah, no, that's frustrating, man. It is frustrating. It is
Sheer Curry
frustrating. I don't like
says,
that either.
Christians are an easy target.
Yeah, they've been they're they're the most persecuted, and they do not retaliate. They're
Sheer Curry
the
says,
ones least to retaliate.
Muslims will kick your ass.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's just how it is, man. If somebody's like
King of Was
somebody
left says,
blew something up, they know who they're
be the
talking
tit you
about.
want
So
to see in the world.
just it is what it is. You know, it's just how it is right now. Like if Christians were blowing people up right now, people would be outraged and calling for the entire religion to be outlawed. So I agree with that. Anyway. Woo! It's looking all right.
King of Was left says, Muslims will kick your ass when they aren't busy marrying 9-year-olds.
Yeah. Some crazy stuff going down. It's like there's also like, you know, people are always upset about slavery in this country, which we freaking abolished, but it's like there's slaves right now in these other countries. If you want to
Futury Oil Painter says,
talk about that.
yeah, in the Roman Colosseum days, they would have lions battling Christians.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's looking all right. It's not looking a bed. We got the boobs. We had a dick right here at one point, slapped over that wing. Videos and art inspiration if you want to find it. Not too long ago, I think about 2 weeks ago, perhaps, maybe. Anyway, let's make these birds pop.
QFX says. Def a proper fridge piece, bottom half though. King of Was left says.
You turn the music down.
Fucking love Deftones. Futury Oil Painter says. Don't forget the halos over their heads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
QFX says. You know what would make it real grand? Some glued pasta.
Show it to mom. It's like,
Sheer Curry says. He's Italian. Pasta is gonna stick on it if he has it on the fridge very quickly. QFX says. Then it would fall off and your mom's all like, great now I have to clean up. Valker1s says.
you do more cleaning than my
I
mom
remember
does.
the original text of the penis bird.
The penis bird. Ah, yes. Good times.
Futury Oil Painter says. Is it really only Wednesday?
Right? You know
Futury
what?
Oil Painter says. Time is going slow.
It's going to be rough Easter
Sheer
because
Curry says.
the church is
It
so
is
packed.
Thursday here already.
And I want to take my
QFX
dad.
says. Michael Keaton was good as the Birdman.
And it's rough. It is rough. I'm not looking forward to Easter, and it's a horrible attitude. It's a mucho horrible. Horrible! Attitudine!
King of Was left says. I can already tell whoever ordered this commission is gonna throw it on a tote bag and never give you the credit when somebody asks where they got it.
They'll put it in their bathroom. That's what my sister did. I did like a painting, 2 paintings of our dog, and I just had them around. I gave it to her, and she has it in her bathroom. It's like the worst place to put it. Do whatever she wants.
QFX says. Better than the basement.
I'd rather it be in the basement.
Shurikitten says.
It's like getting shit
Bathrooms are
particles.
great places for paintings. Lots of time to sit and look at them.
Good point.
QFX says. Real shit, if you take a dump you like a nice view. Shrikitten says.
Shouldn't
Yeah,
me?
better than reading shampoo bottles lol. King of Was left says. That makes sense actually. Despite not needing my dog's help, she always comes in to cheer me on when I'm taking a shit. So that is one of the places where I would nostalgically want to have a picture of her. QFX says. I thought about hanging a world map on my door. Valker1S says. Sisters, am I right? QFX says. Damn right. Futury Oil Painter says. Do you use toilet paper or a Roman sponge on a stick?
Real men use their hands.
Sheer
Or
Curry
people who have
says.
lost all hope.
Sisters are the best.
Shikari, do you have a brother or sister?
QFX says. You must not have one.
Well, I'm asking.
Sheer Curry says. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
QFX says. LMAO, who would have thought? Sheer Curry says.
Are you an only
I
child?
have brothers lol.
You have brothers? How many brothers you have?
Valker1S says.
Val.
Found a sister lol. Sheer Curry says. 2. QFX says. Only boys in that family, huh? Sheer Curry says. All your brothers died from the plague QFX. QFX says. I miss the gang. Sheer Curry says. Do your siblings draw?
Mine don't know. Nah.
Valker1S says. My freezer went out today, so basically since I've been home from work I have been working on the freezer and taking random pit stops in my office to hang out with you guys lol.
Dude, that
Sheer
sucks.
Curry says. Nobody in my family draws or paints. It's like I was adopted.
Yeah, I feel the same way, to be honest with you. I really, I'm feel like an alien.
Valker1S says. I'm actually adopted lol. QFX says. Okay, Mr. draws boobs on birds. Sheer Curry says. Being adopted is wild to me. Valker1s says. Same honestly lol. QFX says. What did your dad think about you playing WoW lol, bet he thought it's weird. QFX says. You're muted. Sheer Curry says. Views instantly went up. Sheer Curry says. Stop scratching your nipples. It messes up your mic. Valker1s says. Luith, if you can hear us, blink twice and show us your nipples. QFX says. If you're gay, say nothing. Sheer Curry says. LMAO and show us your nipples. Valker1s says. I've got money, they are pierced. Sheer Curry says. And he has a chain that connects to his ding dong piercing. QFX says. Wow, such a nerd. King of Was left says. I bet this is a destruction from the fact he's in the Epstein files. We all saw that Bill Clinton painting, I know those brush strokes anywhere. King of Was left says. Distraction too. QFX says. If you're a 1200 pumper, say nothing. Valker1s says. I hit 1200 in my sleep, lol. King of Was left says. He's in the 4-stroke gang. QFX says. Gears wakes up and gets a phone notice he just hit 2200. Valker1s says. I ended my last season in 2s at 2150, but my Enzov came in late, lol. We took a break from WoW. QFX says. Late is good though because of MMR inflation. QFX says. You can abuse these a lot to get free 3K rating. QFX says. Or MMR. Valker1s says. We had to hurry and farm honor gear, and then conquest gear, and then get our stupid crafting gear you need to have a doctorate degree to figure out how to make. QFX says. Yeah, the crafting stuff you needed was overly complex last expansion. Sheer Curry says. Do you know sign language? QFX says. Please, the guy can barely talk. Valker1s says. I don't like the crafting order system at all, just do it the old-fashioned way, find someone who can craft it in trade chat or slap it on the auction house. QFX says. I don't like that you need the stuff at all, just give me PvP gear. King of Waslef says. What's wrong, Lewis? Homosexual cat got your tongue. Valker1s says. Exactly. QFX says. Was Zav on Windwalker when you got it? Valker1s says. Yeah, disc, WW. QFX says. Seems good, WW is pumping too now, but S just broken. QFX says. MW. Valker1s says. Yeah, WW is insane right now. I keep telling Zav about it, but he's a dork and wants to main his unholy DK this season. Lewis Guidetti says. Mike is out of batteries. Lewis Guidetti says. Like your mom. Valker1s says. Hashtag first world problems. QFX says. They got a bit nerfed last patch, but they're still a very good melee, and touch is always up. Sheer Curry says. Use that headset thing. Valker1s says. I already miss your sweet sweet voice. King of Waslef says. Kind of funny, Mike stopped working, but on the other hand, this is the least amount of lag I've ever experienced here. Valker1s says. Listen, this is what you do to chat with us. Put your wireless headset back on, hop in your Discord server and we join. Lewis Guidetti says. I don't know how to set it up on the fly. Louis Guidetti says. It's too complicated. Valker1s says. I see you thinking about it. Valker1s says. I see the cogs turning. Valker1s says. I see smoke coming out of your ears. QFX says. Look how this stream improved a lot now. QFX says. Load a cogs on Discord on Saturday. Valker1s says. Bruh, you just join your own Discord server and keep streaming, you nerd. King of Was left says. That's not smoke, it's dude sauce. Valker1s says. See you in Discord, nerd. King of Was left says. I don't know why, but I blame the doves. Valker1s says. Yes, aim, I don't like how the one at the bottom is looking at me, may kind direct judgmental eye contact. Sheer Curry says. But doesn't that make him not look directly at you since his eyes are on the side? QFX says. Reminds you of your wife at. Valker1s says. You guys, I got some crazy news. King of Was left says. Yeah, the bottom dove is definitely a piece of shit, mad dogging us. QFX says. Sounds like someone just hit 2.3k. Valker1S says. I knocked my wife up. QFX says. What a baller. Sheer Curry says. April Fools is over here in Europe. Valker1S says. I keep telling her now if she tries to fight me it's technically a 2v1. QFX says. It's all year for artists. King of Was left says. I'm pretty sure that's illegal outside the Middle East. Valker1S says. She now has the strength of a full-gown woman and a small baby. Sheer Curry says. Didn't Dwight say that LMAO? Valker1S says. Yes LOL. Valker1S says. Dwight is my idol. Sheer Curry says. Mine too. Valker1S says. I wanna be Dwight when I grow up. Sheer Curry says. Except I don't like beats. Valker1S says. How dare you? Valker1S says. I love beats. Sheer Curry says. I might need to try them Aegean. Valker1S says. They are very good for your heart health. Sheer Curry says. I don't need a healthy heart. King of Was left says. Favorite joke. A retard has the strength of 10 men. Which is equal to 1 chimpanzee. So if you ever see a retarded chimpanzee you turn and run, that thing is a borderline superhero. Valker1S says. You will. QFX says. LMAO I didn't even know who you meant with Dwight. Sheer Curry says. Lewis starts laughing as soon as you say retard. Valker1S says. Retard chimp is a apex predator. King of Was left says. LOL I caught that Vok. Valker1S says. Who do you guys got in a fight, a grizzly bear or a gorilla? King of Was left says. Lewis, you can stop drawing, she didn't pay for shading. QFX says. ID take a gorilla over a frost mage, they're broken in the right hands. QFX says. LMAO, I like how he can't talk back. Valkyr1S says. Let's spice things up a bit. King of Was left says. I think the bear is the obvious answer, but I don't know, a gorilla probably has more skill. Valkyr1S says. What if the gorilla has 100-pound dumbbells duct taped to its hands, but the bear is wearing plate armor? Sher Curry says. Fact, bears eat beets. King of Was left says. Joe Rogan said that a gorilla is the way it is without ever going to the gym. So we. QFX says. Does it even matter if he has plate armor? If you don't have a weapon to pierce the heart, you basically can't do shit, lel. Valkyr1S says. Bears, beats, Battlestar Galactica. King of Was left says. So we've never seen a gorilla's final form. QFX says. I heard best thing you could do is run downhill fast, LMAO. Valkyr1S says. Disc Priest vs Gorilla, easy work. QFX says. Rogue ignore 50% armor now, might be an advantage. King of Was left says. If these 3 doves caught a bear, the bottom one stealing its wallet and leaving the other 2 to die. Piece of shit dove. Guidetti says. Got to go bitches. QFX says. See you 1200 giga juicer. Valker1s says. See you later broem. Guidetti says. Y'all are I though. I will try to thream again this week. King of Was left says. Words hurt, I hope you shit yourself. Guidetti says. LOL.